Good morning, lovely people. Marie Alessi here. Today, I would really love to unpack this one thing with you that I see and hear so many times. In particular, outside of my grief group, I hear that a lot in other grief groups that really focus more on the grief, more on the hurt, more on the suffering rather than the healing. I hear and see this a lot. I also see this a little bit in our group, and I want to help people understand what's going on here. What I'm talking about is when people say, it's been 10 years and I still am hurting so badly that I can hardly breathe. I will never get over this. There'll always be a hole in my heart. All these sentences, all these shout outs are signs that you are stuck in grief. Grief is not a place to reside. And I want to start with looking at grief from two different angles. Are we talking about the emotion of grief here that involves sorrow, that involves hurt, that involves pain, but that also involves beautiful and joyful memories? Or are we talking about the process of grief? I actually want to focus on the process of grief today because this is where some people can't move through, can't move forward, because a lot of people feel that if they move through their grief, if they process through their grief, that they would move away from their loved one, that they would leave their loved one behind, and it couldn't be further from the truth. And I'm not going to stop this recording, this live talk to you today until I feel that I have really made my point about this. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you are processing through your grief, it does not mean that you're leaving your loved one behind. So I want to talk to you about this from an outside perspective. When you look about somebody having lost a person very close to them, very close to their heart, a loved one, a spouse, a child, and this person has passed, and all of a sudden all we do is staying in this place of hurt. It almost feels like we are negating everything else that has happened before in their lives. All the beauty, all the joy, all the love that this person has created in your life. And I also want to address moms who have miscarriage, because you might be sitting here thinking, but I never experienced this joy. I want you to focus on the hope, the love that you felt for this little baby inside you already. There are joyful moments before the passing, otherwise it wouldn't hurt that much. So I want to remind you of the choices that you have. The choice to just focus on the loss, to just focus on the pain that this loss has caused, to just focus on the person not being here anymore, to just focus on this lack, on this hole that was left behind. And I do want to talk to you about this as well, because there is so much negative and hurtful terminology that we have learned to use in terms of grief that is actually hurting and harming us even further. I want to give you different words. I want to give you different perspectives around that. So please bear with me. So the first thing that I want to say is, what would happen if you were to focus on all the joy and all the beauty that happened in your life before, that this person brought into your life before? What if our focus was to just look at all of that and bring that forward into a life without them by your side? Just think about that for a moment. Step back and try to allow yourself to see that from an outside perspective. What if you were to bring all the love, the beauty and the joy that happened, that this person brought into your life, created in your life, created with you in your life, and bring it forward into your future without that person? I can tell you two things that would happen, actually three things. First of all, you would create a continuum of that beautiful, perfect, harmonious, joyful, funny, amazing energy that this person has brought into your life. There would be this continuum. Secondly, with that continuum, you would honor this person's life so much more than focusing just on their passing. You would reduce the person just to their passing if you were to stay in grief. And I promise you, staying in grief, staying stuck in grief, is just as much a decision as deciding to move forward, to process through your grief. And the third thing that would happen if you were to continue that is that you would experience less pain, way less pain, and a lot more joy in life. And this is exactly what I would love for you. And if I was to have a guess, and if I was able to talk to your loved one, what they would want for you, my bet is that they want exactly that for you. They want you to be happy. They want you to be joyful. Nobody in the right mind, nobody who loves you with all their heart would want for you to be sad, would want for you to be stuck in grief. Grief is not a place to reside. Grief is something that we choose. It is something that we choose to process through, or we choose to get stuck in, or we choose to look for the hidden gifts in our adversity. This is a really huge topic, the hidden gifts in our adversity. I refer to that so many times, and we actually have a whole chapter just on hidden gifts in adversity in our healing journey from grief to relief. And this journey is available for everyone. And I want to remind you, or I want to tell you about it if you don't know about it yet. And my Mod Squad, which is the name for my beautiful moderator team, and I have decided to actually create this whole journey as a live interview series where we come together, my Mod Squad and we open this invitation to any one of you who wants to join us live. You can actually join us live in the Zoom group. So we will post a link so you can actually join us for these sessions and come on in and talk to us about each topic that I'll walk you through with my team. We will discuss the pros and cons. We will discuss the learnings that we had personally in this grieving journey, in this healing journey, in this processing our grief journey. And you can come on board with us. You can sit right next to us on Zoom, chat to us, ask questions, get us to help you, whatever you decide you want to do. Or you can watch it live because we will live stream it in a group. Or you can watch the replay if it doesn't work with your time zone. So I needed to remind you of that there are tools available in this group. We are all here to hold space for you. We are all here to wrap you in love and help you to process through your grief. Thank you so much for all the love. I see all the love hearts flying while I'm talking, and it really, really helps me to create this space that we all need here to heal. I have created this movement for you to heal, not for you to stay stuck in grief, not for you to reside in a place of pain that you're not supposed to stay in. Nobody is meant to hurt forever. And so many people say that the more you grieve, the more sorrow you feel and you project out to the world, the more you love that person. I couldn't agree with that any less. I had such an enormous amount of love for Rob. Do you think that was shrunk in any way just by creating happiness and joy for my boys and myself? This is a promise that I made to Rob when we talked about what would happen if we had this talk. And yes, I keep saying that. Of course, it was theory when we first talked about it. None of us thought that Rob would pass that early. It was a sudden death. He had a brain aneurysm. Nobody knew that before. Nobody could know that before. So when it happened, I knew that I would not back off from this. I promised I would create the most happiest life that I possibly can for the boys, for myself. This to me is the most beautiful way of honoring Rob. He was such a happy, positive person. Everybody knew him as such. He loved the ocean. He loved spending time in the water at the beach with his boys. And I promised that I would keep them happy. And I think I'm doing a great job with that. We all have our moments, but I think I'm doing a really great job with that. And that to me is the most beautiful way of honoring him. I mean, they live on. Rob lives on in them. I see Rob in them every single day, in their character, in their looks, in their quirky ways, in things they say, things they do, how they sit sometimes, how they walk. Like Flynn is like almost as tall as Rob used to be now. And like now that his voice has broken, sometimes it really shocks me when he picks up the phone and there's a man on the other side of the line and not a boy. You know, he has grown up so much, and I'm thinking Flynn was 10 when Rob passed. 10 years old, that's such a boy, you know. And in those last 3 years, he has really grown into a young man. It is such a huge transition for him in looks, in characters, and all the hormones that come with it, and in the boy's changes, you know, the deep voice. There's so much change, and he has managed to go through all of that without having a dad in his life, because he's got a freaking awesome mom in his life who makes sure that he's happy, that he's supported, that he's cared for, that he knows that he's so loved beyond measure, and not just by me, but also his dad. I keep bringing him in there, you know, I keep telling him how proud his dad would be of him when he watches him. And I know he watches over him. I know he watches over the boys. I know we are so looked after. We are so cared for. And we are so wanted in a happy space. I can promise you, you are wanted in that happy space. You are supposed to be happy. And deep down, no matter if you are in a space where you can allow yourself to admit that or not, deep down, we all want to be happy. We want to be happy. We've got this longing to create happiness and joy and fun in our lives, and yet we stop ourselves because we feel guilty if we're happy. Or we feel that I can't possibly allow myself that, or I'm not ever allowed to feel that way again with another child, with another man, with another woman, because I would dishonor or I would cheat on the person who has passed. Nothing could be further from the truth. They want you to be happy. They want you to create joy in your life, your kid's life, your partner's life, your own life, whatever your life situation is. We are meant to be happy. We are meant to not just experience joy, but to share joy, to create joy and happiness in each other. This is what our community stands for, loving life after loss. And I invite you to come on in and join us in this loving life state. It's amazing. Does it mean that I never experience pain, that I never think about Rob, that I never cry? No, it doesn't mean that. Yet I'm not saying that, so I cry anyway. I'm not saying that for that reason. I'm saying that because we're all human. We're not perfect. We're not constantly in a happy and perfect mood and know what to do every day. I've got my ups and downs. I've got lows. I've got moments where I cry, where I feel emotional. But I experience so much more joy and happiness in my life because it was a decision. It was a decision because I knew that I had choices. And these choices is something that Rob actually taught me way before I understood that concept, way before I was consciously aware of that concept. I remember so many times when Rob looked at me and was like, you've got two choices in life. You can either focus on the positive or on the negative. Or when I had a bad day, he would hold me and say, breathe in joy, breathe out negativity. And I sometimes rolled my eyes at him. I'm like, don't play the coach on me. I've learned that. I know what I'm doing, you know. But when I stepped out of my I know, which is always stopping you from moving forward and learning, by the way, and I did this exercise with him, it always helped. Always, in every single case, you know, 2 or 3 breaths in and out, breathe in joy and breathe out negativity. Do it with me now. Take a deep breath in and breathe in healing. And breathe out hurt. Breathe in love. And breathe out pain. Do that a couple of times a day or whenever you feel hurt. It actually works. Do it with your loved ones, with your children, with your husband, with your spouse, whoever you have in your life right now. Focus on the people that you have in your life right now that are supporting you and that want you to move forward, that process your grief, that help you process your grief. I'm one of them. In case you didn't know, I want to help you process your grief. And there are so many different ways available in this group. If you're new to this group, if you never heard me speak about this before, drop a me in the comments below and I know I will reach out to you and chat to you about how I can help you move forward. A few little tips and tricks here and there, a few easy tools to start you off with. And when you're ready, we dive into the deeper stuff, you know, to really move that, to move away from the hurt and the pain. I want you to be happy. I want you to experience joy. I want you to come with us into this space of loving life after loss. Grief is not a place to reside. It's a process. It's a process that you can work through with us if you want to. We're all here for you. I'm sending you so much love. This is Marie signing off. Bye for now.